This example will be our last video of the weekend, so I want you guys to take a moment, read through. We're doing a hypothesis test, so you know step one is going to be to identify your null and alternative hypotheses. So I want you to go through, read, see if you can figure those out on your own. All right, so we have a stated mean calorie content of 40. Sounds pretty much like our null value, the thing we're going to test. We're at work and we're asked to verify this. During our test, we find a random sample of 30 12-ounce bottles of cola, has a mean, same sentence as my sample and my sample size, so this thing is my X bar or my evidence of 38.9 with a standard deviation. Again, same freaking sentence, so this thing is an S. So right away, alarm bells are going off. We're doing a t-test. We have an S, so we're going to do a t-test. And then it asks us, at this level, can we reject their claim? So your hypotheses you set up should have been either our mean is 40 or nothing directional here. Nothing says we think it's less, we think it's more. It just says we're trying to verify or reject their claim. So a not equal to on this, a two-tailed test. So if you're somebody doing this by hand, you're probably already going over to step 3 and putting a big 2 times so that way you don't forget. If you're somebody who uses the calculator shortcuts, you don't have to worry about that. Step 2 is where we're going to go ahead and say, let's do a t-test. I need to make sure that I know that I've written t, that this is from the t-distribution. I'm going to get that point. And then the formula on the formula sheet looks like this. It's essentially the exact same calculation we did in 7.4.2. And we will type in everything. 38.9 minus 40 all over 5.5 divided by the square root of 30. Now, if you're somebody that has the calculator and likes the calculator shortcuts, you're just doing t-test, right? Entering all your values into t-test, and you're going to finish this in no time. You could like just fast forward the video. Almost forgot my own advice. Fast forward the video to like step 4. Oh no, failing miserably here. Delete the square root of 30. So negative 1.095. So right off the bat, we're thinking that doesn't seem that unusual. Z or T doesn't seem that unusual. It's only barely 1. So, let's go forth and find our p-value. I'll go ahead and do this one more time with the table, and then I'll just show you what the calculator would have looked like. So table-wise, if I'm going to the table, I need one thing first. I need a degree of freedom since I'm going to the t table. This tells me what table I'm going to. Degree of freedom is going to be 30 minus 1, or 29. So table, we are looking at degree of freedom of 29, and we are on the hunt for 1.095. So it doesn't matter that it'd be closer to this value, it's between these two, which means our tail probability is somewhere between 0.1 and 0.15. So okay, our p-value, 0.1 and 0.15. And if we're somebody who's doing this by hand, like I said, you should have already had a times 2 over here. So our real p-value is somewhere between 20 and 30%, which is gigantic. Just to verify this with a calculator, I could have done all of this since we're doing a t-test. I could have done this with t-test. Now we're looking at 40. How does it compare to 38.9? Are they that different? Especially if our sample standard deviation is a 5.5 and we're drawing 30 things. Change that to a not equal to, calculate. We get out the same t we calculated by hand, and our p-value, the exact value, 0.2823. So falls within our little interval here. That's exactly what we're able to do. But here you have table, a range versus the exact. Step 4, how does this p-value, whichever one we use, how does it compare to the alpha they told us to use, which is the strictest possible alpha? It is way bigger, so we would fail to reject the null. And then we could come to step 5, which I'll do over on the side. There is not enough evidence. It's a shame we've had 2 not enough evidences in a row. And you could write something out that the mean caffeine content in a 12-ounce bottle of cola isn't equal to 40 ounces, or to reject the company's claim. Why did I spell that wrong grammatically? The company's claim. And again, you just want to double check if you're going to choose something like this, try to shorten it, that this is the claim. So this would be rejecting the claim. Now, don't get this confused with rejecting the null. We never want to write down reject the null in this statement, because that doesn't mean anything to anyone but us. So rejecting a company's claim is different than rejecting the null. So this is okay. But normally that word reject is not something I really want to see in your guys' sentences.